Okay, so I was going to do a little update. So here it's just been kind of like bipolar weather. I don't know. It has, it's like a storm will start to come in and then it just all of a sudden goes away. And then it'll be like calm. And then all of a sudden something will come in and it will just go away. So I don't know what the hell. I was talking to my mom too in Spokane, and it was happening over there. Only she was saying it's more like, multiple personality disorder. She said they've just got everything coming at them. And so theirs did get a big windstorm. Ours didn't turn into a big windstorm right here. So I don't know. But it could still be coming. I mean, there's no way to know. There's a super eeriness in the air. But over there, they lost power and they did have a big windstorm and it was scary and stuff. So I'm not sure. And I know there's more stuff going on in other places, you know, mass shootings and all of this bullshit, you know. It's so funny too, like if you think back how they used to have like one big thing happen and, you know, we'd all be paying attention, you know, like the slap. So now they've just got so many and the news is just, you know, they'll focus on one thing. Like when I went to go look and see like what's going on, all this Zelensky, and then all of this Putin, and then mass shooting, and Obama, but you know, all of the different storms and stuff. They're not really talking about them. So yeah, I don't know. I saw another astrology person though this morning, and they said today, the 5th, here in the U.S., that this day was going to be the worst day. So who knows? And this guy was like, he went through a whole long thing. And he said all of April is going to be super dangerous. But he said, you know, I'm not trying. This guy was from India. I'm not sure. I don't know his name or anything. It just popped up. So I was like, huh, I'll go see what he says. Because he said it was something about today. So he was talking about Capricorn going into 28 degrees today and explaining what all of the stuff meant and all of that. And he said that, but he starts saying, you know, you guys keep telling me I'm trying to scare you. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to tell you to get prepared, you know, be aware, pay attention. And that's what I keep trying to say too. We can't just go around and pretend like that nobody's trying to kill us. We have to be aware that there are people trying to kill us. It's the people who have no awareness. They're the ones just walking off the cliff, you know. A lot of them are being escorted off the cliff, and they're trusting the escort as they are taken. So that is why we have to have awareness. It's not about creating fear. It's about waking up and paying attention to what the fuck is happening here. So I think it's, you know, vital to your survival to have awareness and pay attention. But yeah, you can't get all caught up in fear. Like, I didn't sit here all day yesterday. Like, even when I look out, you know, and the trees start blowing and then all of a sudden, like, just rain downpour and turns into hail and stuff like that, you know, and you're just like, oh my God, what's about to happen? What's about to happen? You know, but instead I just focused on this, some series that I caught yesterday on Netflix. And so I watched it all day, and it was called Ginny and Georgia. And oh my gosh, I thought it had so many really good, kind of moral things to look at. You know, I mean, it's always going to have your programming in it, especially in Netflix, you know, Netflix. So the whole thing, it had a lot of really good stuff about family, and because the basis is a 15-year-old girl who's been sexually abused by her stepdad. Her mom's a drug addict. She's never been taken care of, and she ran away from home and was just on the run, got pregnant, had a kid, and then she just kept trying to straighten her life out. But there's just a lot of stuff that she does in this, trying to, you know, make a life for herself. And so they show a lot of stuff about these relationships and, you know, how things are structured. Like, it really had a lot of good stuff, I thought. I'm really looking forward to season 2, and it's not coming out until August or something. But I really enjoyed it, and it kept me distracted for the day instead of sitting here, you know, stressing out and stressing out. And luckily we kept power, because yeah, if we would have lost power, you know, it's sitting here in the dark waiting for the next thing to hit. So, you know, my mom couldn't even sleep all night without power. It's creepy, and you just don't realize how much noise there is going on all around you until there's just no power at all in your neighborhood. And the silence in the dark, it's just, it's very eerie, because we're so used to sound. Like right now, I hear so much buzzing in my house, and it's like the electricity that's around us buzzing. There's life in the air. And, you know, we just become accustomed to it. We don't listen for it anymore. But it's also a lot of noise that clogs up our thinking, our processing. So, you know, when there's absolute silence, it's very odd. And, but one thing is too, is, so I was thinking about a few different things, and, hold on. Felt like a tickle in my throat, or in my chest. One thing is that, you know, they don't let up about this friggin' slap thing. Oh my God. They have to just keep going over and over and over it, and keeping it in the headlines. And I saw another thing too, that they were trying to push, a total stupid, superficial bullshit thing. It's like, they just want to keep talking about superficial bullshit things, because there's stuff going on that they don't want us to have awareness of. And it's how they distract us. So let's just keep turning this over and turning this over, and let's make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, one thing that I think too is, you know, there's a lot of, you know, I know a lot of people having a lot of drama. I'm sure everybody is, you know, has awareness of a lot of people in their lives having a lot of shit going on, a lot of drama. And a lot of people are really stuck in the past and stuff. And, you know, one thing about, you know, where people stay stuck in the past, they don't know they're stuck in the past. They don't know that they are holding their consciousness captive in a past situation. So they are not moving forward themselves. They don't know how much, when you hold on to anger and resentment and the, you know, these associated things that people, you know, that manifest from different traumas that we have happen to us in our life, how much when you are holding on to that, how stagnant you become in your life. And, you know, that's why it starts manifesting and presenting itself in physical symptoms. Like I've talked about this a long time ago. Like when you don't deal with something, it starts becoming, you know, a cancer growing inside of you. And so how important it is to not hold on to stuff. But there's a lot of people who do hold on to stuff, and they don't know that they're holding on to it. They just think, you know, I'm not really sure what they think. They probably all think different things, you know, but they don't realize that they are hurting themselves. It's not hurting the other people. The other people are just going on with their lives. And so I was thinking about some of that kind of stuff, you know, and I just think it's, you know, because they're stuck someplace, they don't realize like life has gone on. And it's part of the human condition to make mistakes. I mean, that's why we're here. We're here to learn from our mistakes. We're here to learn from the experiences and what happens when we make mistakes and how it affects us and how many mistakes it takes us to learn from. That's up to each of us. And, but a lot of people, they don't really realize, like, because they're stuck, they don't realize other people are growing and changing. You know, like 2 of my daughters have made it clear, like, you know, they've noticed how much I've changed to go from a relationship junkie to, you know, I haven't gone out with anybody in 5 years, just working on myself and taking care of myself and focusing on my own healing and growth and stuff. And it's not like nobody's asked me out. I mean, I have somebody presently who, you know, is trying really hard to communicate. And I'm just like, I don't have time for the drama anymore. I'm not into it. Like that's not a part of my life anymore, to be a part of these dramas and games and stuff. And so, yeah, I'm not into it. But, you know, some people don't recognize when you change because they're so trapped in the past. And all they can see is that they're looking through the lenses of seeing life through this trauma. So they haven't moved past it. So they're like held back. But, you know, some of us keep going and growing and changing. And, you know, so I think it's just part of it. It's just like, you know, own it. Just, you know, own it. Own your mistakes. Own the shit you've done. You know, it's a part of your story. And it's a part of your growth. And most of us, when we have something like that, you know, and somebody wants to keep saying, throwing it up in your face or something, it's like, you know, I'm sorry, you're still held back there, but, you know, life has changed. I've grown. I've learned from my mistakes. And yeah, I'll own my mistakes. We all make them. You know, and I think that also it kind of role models for other people. Like, oh, okay, so I can own a mistake and the world's not going to blow up. You know, I'm not going to cease to exist or something, because people are so trained to manipulate and play games. And I mean, it's been part of the structure of this world. And one thing too, I was thinking about this visual came to me today, is like, if you want to think about for a soul, for a consciousness, about coming into 3D experiment, or it is an experiment, but a 3D reality. And so, you know, if you are consciousness and you want to go into see yourself, experience yourself, and understand yourself, then putting it into a three-dimensional kind of concept so that you can go in and do that. And so if you think about like a little girl who has, you know, a dollhouse, and, you know, she's a little girl, and so she's always playing with her dollhouse and arranging furniture and playing with the people, role playing, acting out maybe situations that she's dealt with and stuff like that. Like, she's learning from this three-dimensional existence that she's created for her to play out different roles and experiences, right? And then once she stops playing with it, she gets older and she no longer needs it, but those experiences are inside of her. You know, she understands them and she's played them out, so they've become a part of her. So then when she goes out into the world, that is a part of her. That is a part of her. So she doesn't need to go back to the playhouse and play it out. It's already in her. So that is kind of like this transformation in this 3D world of playing stuff out. And then once it becomes a part of you, you no longer need that experience. So you're able to let go of it and go into another experience, which would be, you know, 4D, 5D, all this stuff that they say. But really, it's about your levels of consciousness and your understanding of your creation that you're making, and your own self-evolution and your own change to, you know, like that little girl. She's not going to stay that little girl. She's going to play those games. Then she's going to evolve into you know, an adolescent, youth, teen, adult, you know, an older person. So going through all of these different stages of life to get to the part where she has a deeper understanding. Like, the understanding I have of life at 60 years old is so much different than the one I did at 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, even. You know, I mean, life is very different now in our understanding than it was in 2019. You know, I think there was a small amount of people that in the, you know, earlier than 2019 that had a clear indication that, you know, there was mass genocide going on. I don't think that, you know, it was definitely not the majority of people. I think now the majority of people do realize, like, they're not here trying to help us. They're trying to kill us, and they've been doing it for a long time because they've been poisoning us. I saw a thing, too, now, Carl Vernon, he's, I don't know, kind of like me, just talks about the idiocracy that's going on around us. And he was showing that they have now lion meat that is grown in a lab. So they are marketing it as with burgers. Like you can go buy the, you know, how they have Beyond Burgers, you know, the 4 burgers in a package, or Impossible Burgers, you know, the 2 in the package, you know, or beef burgers, you know, already made up and put in a package. So that's what they come as, these burgers that are made up and put in a package, fresh. And it's lion, but it's lab grown lion. Like, who wants to eat, like, what the fuck? And then they said that they are also doing it with giraffe, with all of these different exotic animals. Like, why? Why would we want to go and eat lab grown food? And he was making a point, you know, like he showed old Gator Boy's face and said, well, we know who's not going to be eating it, who's going to really be eating real food while we're eating, you know, lab grown chemical food. And, you know, but that's the thing that people need to wake up their consciousness to start being like, you know, why would I eat this? Why would I eat something grown in a lab? She's having a grumpy day. We've been up since 4 and she just kept waking me up and waking me up and waking me up. I really feel like today is going to be a day I'm going to take a nap because I am really tired. But anyways, so I think that, you know, I mean, they keep exposing the nonsense and the disgusting ridiculousness that they are trying to do, you know, this Soylent Green freaking pervo world that they're creating. And another thing too is I was thinking about, oh, it just came to my mind. So I was going to say, dang it. Oh, but I will say, so I was looking up stuff about, I wasn't looking it up, it just popped up about different natural things to use for your teeth. And so I'll share a couple of them I could remember. Chewing on sesame seeds, chew it and then keep it like a gummy paste in your mouth. Chew them, I think it's like 10 or 15 minutes. And that does something good for your teeth. I made a couple of little things, like a little thing of baking soda, but only use it once a week, it said. And cloves, ground cloves, and olive oil, which I used yesterday. And that one, I think you put it on your teeth and you leave it for like 15 minutes. And you keep on, you know, it keeps getting a lot of spit in your mouth. So I kept spitting the spit out into a thing. I was like, I can't just sit here and hold spit in my mouth like this for 15 minutes. But it has a lot of good things for your teeth. You know, like if you ever had like a problem at the dentist, like one time, you know, when they fucked up all these teeth and they had to do the surgery and take them out and stuff, one of them got a dry socket or something, and they had to put cloves in it. So cloves do something good inside of our mouths. Like you can look up about it, but the cloves and the olive oil also like absorbic acid, so you can use some with lemon juice. And then they were talking about orange rind, to use the inside of the orange rind. You can wipe it on your teeth. But there's a lot of different things. You can't do them every single day. Like you wouldn't brush your teeth twice a day with any of these things. But different things to keep your teeth clean and that are better for us than, you know, I mean, to me, it really exposed the dental establishment, or whatever you want to call it, with the whole fluoride thing. Once I started learning that fluoride was, you know, petrifying or whatever it's doing to our pineal gland, then that showed like, oh, they're doing that on purpose, especially because when I was a kid, we grew up like fluoride treatment, fluoride's in our water. You know, it was like this pounding fluoride into us. And I thought it was like to help our teeth. And then when you find out, like, no, it doesn't do anything for your teeth. It's a poison and it fucks you up. And it's like, oh, because even when the last time I went to get my teeth cleaned, every single time I go to get my teeth cleaned, the guy's always like, well, you want a fluoride treatment? It's like, they're still pushing this. And I told the guy, no, I meditate. No, I do not want fluoride. Thank you very much. And they're always just like, oh, what? So yeah, I think if the dentists don't have awareness, like, why would you trust them with anything in your fucking mouth then? I mean, same thing with all of this medical and stuff. I mean, they're showing so much of the ignorance that is involved in, oh, I remember what I was going to say. So I was thinking about this morning, and I don't mean this in like a mean kind of way or something, because it could come across as I mean it in like a mean way, like some people are disposable or something. I don't mean it like that. I'm talking about like a soul experience. And when you think about the souls and all the different souls that come here for experience and stuff, and you think about some of the horrible, tragic countries where things have been going on that are just outrageous and horrible, you know, China being a huge one, but there's way more than that. And so I was thinking, well, because I keep wondering about this, like all this bad stuff happening, and, you know, people are, you know, like, are we suddenly going to have all these people drop dead right in front of us and stuff? And I think there's going to keep being people dying, but, you know, if there's going to be a mass thing that's going to happen, I kind of feel like it's going to be in one of those places where it seems that a lot of souls contracted to come in to deal with a lot of really horrendous stuff. So, you know, I don't know. The guy this morning, I think the reason why I started thinking about it was because, you know, it seems like something big is about to occur. And we know something big has to occur to change us in the other direction, and so that we can start to rebuild and stuff. So there has to be some shit that's going to go down. And, you know, I mean, we can't get away from that. And if it's going to just keep being all of these strikes all over the place, but still something big has to happen. And he was saying that it's going to be over there, like by China. There's like China is going to invade Taiwan or something, and a lot of people are going to be killed. And that's going to just, you know, domino effect out to the rest of us, because it would. I mean, just think about how much stuff that we buy, because, I mean, it's not like we chose this. They chose it for us, but everything's from fucking China. You know, they've established that. So there's a lot that will be affected by anything that goes on over there. So, and, you know, it seems like because of so many bad things that go on, that a lot of souls contract to come into, you know, experience that stuff. And especially if this, for this reality is the end of war and stuff like that, and, you know, it's your last experience to come in and do it. Because you got to remember that a soul knows that this isn't real. Like, we think it's real because, you know, we're in the dollhouse. We think it's real, you know. We've got somebody playing with us. We think this is real. Hold on. This is really scratching my throat. Hold on. But it isn't, you know, it's just like, you know, but going for a soul, it's just like going in and doing a play. You know, if you die in the play, you don't really die. You just, you know, go and do another thing in another reality. You go home, you go practice for another play, whatever it is. You don't really cease to exist because you died in a play. And soul knows that that's all this is like a giant play. And we're all just playing parts for each other. And like I said, it has been so much more of us all just focusing on our own pain and our own, how we felt about life, and all these things happening in life to get us to wake up so that we see life is bigger than that. And there is somebody in control of this, and we've given over our free will to these people because, you know, ego. And I think most of the stuff, honestly, that we're seeing with people who are the most brainwashed, I think it's all about the ego work. And the dark night is when you have to face your ego. That is when you have to face your shadow self, your dark self. And so that's why I keep saying, like, whatever's going to happen for all these people who are so trapped in ego is going to be so significant that it's going to put them into the dark night, because they're going to have to face their shadow self. And that is that side of themselves that is ignorant, you know, that plays along. Like, you know, we know that the government's bad, but still we want to make sure our kids go to their schools. We want to make sure our children are being sexually taught at school and all this stuff. It's like, why? Why in the hell would we need... I remember when my kids were in school and they sent these papers home because they had to teach them about AIDS and HIV. And not everybody wanted their kids to learn about this. So you had to sign a paper, you know, that you wanted your children to be educated on sexual reproduction or whatever. And it was the same when I was in school. Not every kid, when my mom had to sign the paper, and of course my mom didn't want to talk about it. She came from a very repressed, like, you know, very repressed time in our evolution as human beings. And so, yeah, she didn't want to talk about it. It's like, yeah, let the school do it. I don't know what to say. And so I remember being in the class, and it wasn't everybody in the whole school. It wasn't everybody in the 6th grade. It was just, you know, how many ever of us, our parents signed, and then we had to go in and watch, like, these very scientific classes showing you about ovaries and uteruses and stuff like that. It definitely wasn't sexual. It definitely wasn't about, like, you know, if you don't feel like you're really a girl and you think you're a boy, but your vagina tells you different, you know, you can change that. Wasn't anything like that. Wasn't anything about telling us how to masturbate or anything like that. So, you know, I don't know how it's evolved now. I mean, it's obviously gone into perversion town, because it has to show how idiocracy really works. You know, they have to make things so absurd so that we are like, what? We got to reach that point of outrage. And it's just mind-blowing as how many people don't, you know, reach it. It's like, what the hell? Does anything outrage you? Or do you draw any line in the sand? Is everything okay? Like, is it certain people? Because certain people can't say or do shit, but these other people can just cross every fucking line that there is, and you just continue to just move the line for them. It's like, that's what people have to wake up to, is whatever inside of them is making them go and say, oh, no, that's okay. Oh, no, I wouldn't have done that, but I guess that's okay. Well, they say it's okay. I guess it's okay, you know. It's like, that's what they have to face. That's going to be a part of their dark night, you know. And it's that's why you have to have that humility, and you will be humbled, because there's parts of yourself that are, you know, in the shade. They're, you know, they are weak. They are, you know, imbecilic. You know, it's like stupid ass shit. And, you know, we just have to face it. It doesn't mean that's what we are. Because we do something, that doesn't mean that's who we are. We're in a learning process. We are in the process of understanding and learning more about ourselves. So that is part of the process. So, but a lot of the people who are going to be going through it aren't going to feel like, I mean, there's a coming to Jesus moment, you know, where you have to realize that there's something more out there than just you. And, you know, they have to go through this to even realize that, like, why am I giving someone else power in my life? Why am I not claiming my own power? Where did it become like that I believed I needed to follow laws and rules? And that one documentary too, I don't know if I had finished it by that and talked about it, but I mean, I finished it, but I don't know if I ever said, but you know, the murder on Middle Road or whatever it was, the one on HBO where the son is doing a documentary about his mom's murder, and it's all people, the suspects are all people that he knows and stuff. So it's very intriguing. But one of the things that I thought made it really, really clear was the unfairness and the hypocrisy of our judicial, and how much, you know, that they can get away with. And especially the person who I think is the one who is the killer. I mean, if you've watched any crime shows, you know, you can kind of, you know, understand, and you know what the stuff that the cops should have looked for. You know, all of the signs are there. I mean, he was involved with the energy with Saudi Arabia and stuff. I mean, he was working with globalists and stuff. So when she was divorcing him and bringing stuff to the surface, you know, he couldn't allow that. He couldn't allow some of the stuff it was going to expose. I mean, he had all of these businesses that they're called shell companies, I think. And they don't really exist other than being on paper, and it's just a part of the money laundering. Because like I said, you know, even, you know, right at the top of my thing, you joined, you've got a little scan bar on the TV, so you can scan your phone and give money right to the Ukraine. Really? And is it going to go to Mr. or Mrs., you know, I don't know a bunch of Russian names, but is it going to go into their account, or is it going to go into an agency that says they're going to distribute the money? Because they don't distribute the money. They take the money and pocket it. Go ask Katie what happens. You know, they don't give the money to the people. Go ask Australia what happens. All the money that's collected for these huge crises goes into their funneling system on their shell corporations, so that they can just funnel the money around and then move it right back to themselves. You know, all you got to do is follow the money, and, you know, you see that. I mean, it's crystal clear how they do it. So the guy in there, you know, it was exposing that, and the cops, how many things they didn't investigate. Like, they didn't even luminol the guy's car. They didn't even do the whole thing about, like, how long did it take to get to court? Like, was he sitting there? Is he on camera? Do they know exactly the time he was in court? Well, I mean, there's just so many things that the cops didn't even cover, and the son sued the cops to get this stuff. And so I think there's going to probably be a part 2, because all of the information that he got, and then it ended. And so HBO, I would feel, was like, okay, well, we got to release this. You got to give it to us. And he's like, well, I just got all this more information. And they're like, well, we have a release date, so you got to give it to us. Well, they're part of the system. So was it more of the cover-up because it's the globalists who are involved in this crime? Not that they went and killed her, but somebody who's involved with them who has to cover the ass of them, you know, who killed somebody because she had one of those dead man switches or whatever, you know. She had, if something happens to me, then this all goes to Interpol, and the FBI was involved and stuff in the investigation of this guy in Interpol, because he was a global money launderer, because he was involved with the energy companies, and it's all part of their fucking system. But so, you know, it showed a lot of stuff about that, and just, you know, that are just putting those women in prison for their parties, their gifting parties, and, you know, they're serious criminals, you know, going in and doing serious crimes and not getting as much time as these people. So, you know, how we've ever allowed these systems to control us. I can't even stand seeing now these people who want to, I mean, there's a lot of good people now who are trying to take a stand and run and get in office. We don't want this. We don't want people over us. The most we should ever have is maybe a mayor or something, like a community person that is at the head of the table, but we all need to be involved in our own communities. We need to be involved in, you know, how communities are run. We don't need to leave it for somebody else, because we've seen now they turn it into corruption and they're out to kill us. So we don't, I'm not into this whole thing about, you know, electing people now to have them in charge of us. I don't give a shit how nice a person they are. You know, that's a system that needs to go down with the rest of this shit. So I believe it's going to go down. My stomach's growling. I did eat something, though, earlier. I think that system is going to go down, and it's going to be, you know, as part of everything falling apart in this world. The government is going to, so I don't know if it's going to be the last to go or something. I think so much is going to be exposed, you know, with Joe going down. And maybe that's why they're bringing Obama back into the White House, is because it's all part of getting him back on the main stage so we can all witness the takedown. I don't know. It seems like that they bring a lot of people back on stage when it is, you know, time for exposure, when something's going to be shown. So, I don't know. A lot of stuff, you know, is just keep waiting to see. Like, we'll know when it starts going the other direction. We will be very clear on that. You know, and we're still in the buildup of this, you know, the storm is still coming at us. And, you know, once it lands, there's going to be a lot of destruction. And, you know, but that's what we need to have happen. We have to allow it to happen. And I mean, it may not be in China, and it may not be in the Ukraine. It could be in America. It could be anywhere. You know, there's no way to really know. But that's why we all have to stay vigilant in our own safety and awareness. Like, you know, I mean, it's not safe to go out. They'll come in and just start shooting at people. And if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And that's where, you know, you're going to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. You know, and we can't do anything about that. And, you know, and a lot of people don't know. You know, none of us know when we're going to go. None of us know, you know, the day and time of our expiration in this reality. So, you know, but it is, I think, still, we need to have that awareness, but we can't stop what's inevitable because destiny is already set. You know, if you've run out of soul contracts and, you know, your time is up, you've already played your part, you've done what you came here to do. And so it's time for you to exit the stage and go to a different reality. So, you know, it's going to seem like a lot of trauma. And we just have to keep reminding ourselves that, you know, none of this is real. It's a movie. We're watching something. And so we can experience it so that we can grow and we can learn from what's going on. And, you know, but there's still, I would think there's a lot more to come. And, you know, I still think that there could be a lot of stuff that's going to happen this week. So, you know, we just got to see. I mean, all of these different astrology people all seem to be like a little bit off from each other. There's not just like one set thing. You know, just like if you go in and you watch these psychic predictors, you know, I don't go in and watch anymore. When it very first started going on 2020 and people were popping up and saying this is going to happen or that's going to happen, I would go in and see like, you know, what the hell? And, but so many things didn't because, you know, it is when you're looking into the future, when you're seeing what's going to play out, like it is still, it's still a translation of what you're seeing. And, you know, another thing I was thinking too, is it part of being able to see into the future? Is it because you kind of release yourself from this reality so you can jump in and look at the future? But it's still all fluid. Things can change. So even if you're looking at something, how do you know it's really set? But the things that you know, I'm not trying to be specific and detailed, but I do know that this, you know, is about our healing. This is a transformation. This is an elevation. And this is the end of an age. And we are moving into a new age. And I do believe everything is going to crash. And we're going to rebuild into a completely, entirely different system. And we're going to be a lot more healed and a lot more unified as that occurs. So, you know, the rest of the stuff is up in the air to me, just like it is up in the air to everybody else. I mean, there's people who want to go specifically and say, this is exactly going to happen on this day in this place and stuff, you know, and, you know, there's no way to know. All we can hope for, what I'm hoping for is just, you know, the things coming together about this Cuban Missile Crisis, and that this is, you know, kind of an anniversary, how the planets align in the Cuban Missile Crisis this week. So, you know, hopefully that is, you know, because the thing is with Juan is that he does have some sort of you know, attachment or some sort of link to the alliance, to, you know, the people who are able to look in looking glass, because that's the whole thing. They're able to look in looking glass and they can see some of this stuff. And I don't know that they can see complete details, or if they just see an overall too. But, you know, the whole thing with the Cuban Missile Crisis, that's what, until this week is over, I'm just going to keep hoping this is the week that changes everything for us. And, you know, yesterday it was super scary when the storms are happening and you don't know how bad anything's going to get and what's going to happen. Because, you know, we're on edge. We know something big's coming. And, you know, I want it to hurry up and come so we can stop being on edge. So, you know, but none of us have control over that. And I think, you know, even with us all, you know, focusing our energy to that, it's destiny. It's planned out. It's always going to happen the way it's going to happen. And we can sit here and wish and wish and wish and want and want and want, but we can't change what's inevitable. So anyways, we'll just see what goes on. But so far here, we still have power, and, you know, the wind hasn't had an effect here. But I did go out and, you know, got intimate with my tree, like rubbing it and talking to it. Like, okay, please, you guys, protect the house, protect us, you know, stand strong. They're hitting us with everything they got. And, you know, they are. I mean, just with the animals, with nature, with everything, like the fires in Australia, how many animals were killed, you know, what they're doing to this poor planet. And it's, you know, they're trying to kill us. They're trying to kill the planet. They don't care about anything. They are just out for themselves. So we do have to be strong and know that, you know, we're dealing with the worst serial killers that have ever been known to mankind right now. So, you know, stay strong, and, you know, you just keep, whatever comes up, just keep processing and processing, because that is what we're really here to do, is to process, because we want to get to this elevated state of being so that we can really rebuild a beautiful new world for us all. So, okay, I'll talk to you later. And, you know, I'm wishing the best for everybody, no matter where they are. So hopefully, you know, it's sad anything's going to happen to anybody, but, you know, that's all we can do. It's sad. You know, I wish that things could go differently. I wish that we could all just wake up and all of a sudden realize all together and celebrate and just, you know, go, you know, escort them off into Gitmo or wherever. But, you know, the whole process is having to wake up. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.